Hey guys, Simon here bringing you more Shadows over Innistrad speculation. Now, in a previous video, I discussed how the cosmic octopus avatar Marit Lage could potentially be an Eldrazi. That topic's still up for debate, but regardless, could this planeswalking monstrosity be somehow involved with the events of Shadow over Innistrad? It's time to again read between the lines. As cards were released and spoiled for SOI, we got a good glimpse into the plot points of the set, but to Wizards' credit, a lot is still up for speculation. One of these points is the machinations of the Lithomancer Nahiri, and what she plans to do in order to get her vengeance on Zora Markov. In the flavor text for Structural Distortion, we clearly see that Nahiri's done with Sorin and looks to damage Innistrad just as the Eldrazi had her home world of Zendikar. Now, besides destroying Markov Manor, Nahiri has something much more malicious in mind, and it involves something called cryptoliths. These are strange inorganic structures that seem to harness mana ley lines, much like the Hedrons of Zendikar. Nahiri was the original architect for the Hedrons, so it stands that she most likely created these as well. In Pour Over the Pages, Jace makes the connection between these cryptoliths and the destruction of Markov Manor, linking them directly to Nahiri. But how does this connect Marit Lage to Innistrad? Well, it has to do with how the cryptoliths are planned to be used. Many believe Nahiri is channeling the ley lines in order to summon something terrible to Innistrad. This is highlighted in the flavor text of Warped Landscape. They twist the mana to a singular purpose. So she's planning on summoning a monster. How could it be Marit Lage when Emrakul, the last remaining Eldrazi Titan, appears far more likely? It all has to do with the placement of Nahiri's cryptoliths. Jace first makes the connection from Tamiyo's journal and the minds of locals. The flavor text from Jace's scrutiny seems to tie the cryptoliths to the sea, reading, "Just a collage of images, cryptoliths, the sea, a tangle of shipwrecks." Going to the coastal province of Nephalia, Jace makes another discovery. In Epiphany at the Drown Yard, he stares down at an arrangement of cryptoliths, asking, "Is this what you found, Tamiyo?" Jace also describes the scene in Drown Yard Temple, declaring, "This is it! All the cryptoliths point here." So obviously the sea is going to play a big role in whatever Nahiri plans to do, and there are signs that point to a giant monster lurking in the dark depths. In Drown Yard Explorers, the flavor text reads, "Angels and Inquisitors terrorize villages, but no one seems to notice the stirring out at sea." This card suggests that while we're all worried about Avacyn and the Angels in SOI, in the next set, the threat will come from the ocean. Okay, so Nahiri is summoning a sea monster. What makes me believe it's Marit Lage? Well, Marit Lage is the only thing in size and power that can even compare to the Eldrazi. If Nahiri wanted to destroy Innistrad, she's gonna need more than a simple Kraken. But that's just my opinion. What's some evidence that can back it up? Well, we know from her story on Dominaria that Marit Lage had a cult following of worshippers, as seen in Brine Shaman. We can see similar zealotry beginning to rise on the shores of Innistrad as well. Nahiri is amassing followers, forming a cult under the Lady of Vengeance. Perhaps this is merely Nahiri herself, or it's what Nahiri promises to bring. We can see in the province of Nephalia, people already worship large ocean-dwelling creatures, as seen in the flavor text of Silverline Snapper. Nephalia is home to many hard-shelled creatures of unusual size, the largest of which are avoided, or worshipped. But the most damning evidence of all comes from the art of two cards. First, we have a secret Easter egg in Just the Wind. What may first look like just another section of blue curtain actually has some texture to it. If you look closely, you can see suction cups lining what appears to be octopus tentacles. These appear blue and more natural, unlike the abnormal grasping arms of Emrakul, suggesting they actually belong to a Kraken, like the Kraken avatar of Marit Lage. Next is Engulf the Sea. If you can't see this, then you need to adjust your screen. It's a wave with the shadow of large tentacles twisting just under the surface. It's a striking silhouette of Marit Lage, and far different from what we'd expect Emrakul to look like. The card reads, "The tides have begun to ignore the moon," suggesting a tie-in to the Eldic Moon set. Now, this all looks pretty good, but still there lacks evidence for it actually being Marit Lage and not just some unnamed octopus. My last piece of evidence is what I believe to be a hint from Wizards itself, and that's Thing in the Ice. A strange name for a creature, wouldn't you say? I actually think this is an Easter egg put in by wizards to hint at the origins of Marit Lage. Of course, Marit Lage being stuck in a glacier during the events of Ice Age. Could it be a coincidence? Or does it mean something a little more? We just have to wait to find out. There still exists evidence to suggest it's Emrakul, more specifically, all those purple tentacles we're seeing. But I have a theory to explain away those as having nothing to do with the Eldrazi at all, but that's a topic for another video. From this vantage point, I'd argue that Emrakul isn't involved with Innistrad at all, but perhaps something far worse. Rejoice, all you Eldrazi Emrakul hating fans out there. I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe there's evidence to suggest that Marit Lage is on Innistrad? Let me know in the comments below. In any case, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like and subbing to the channel. It goes a long way in supporting future content. You can also support this channel by becoming a patron on Patreon, and adding me on other social media outlets. Find links to those in the description below. As always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.